If you're going to have a phenomenal business, you've got to get strategic about what it is that you're doing. Now, one of the things that I've learned, if we take where we are today, we're here in Double Bay in Sydney. And what we know is that a Double Bay agent can list in Vaucluse, in Point Piper, in Rose Bay, in Bondi Beach. They can literally list practically anywhere in the east. But yet, when it comes to a Bondi agent, it's very hard for a Bondi agent to go and list, maybe for example, in Point Piper or Vaucluse or any of those markets. And this is why it's such an important understanding about what is the hub market and what is the spoke. Now, spoke markets are smaller little markets. They're in a position, they're insular peninsulas. This is that whole conversation. That's a really nice little location. But if you go to think about the hub market, that is the market which is much more aspirational. It's where the majority of the population is. It's where all of the key infrastructure is. It's where the major shopping centers really are that service all of those smaller spokes. What you've got to do is you've got to set your business up in the hub so that you can ultimately look after more marketplaces more often. And then ultimately, if you find yourself in a spoke, get back to the hub pretty quickly because that hub actually allows you to move up and down the price ranges. What we see is a lot of people in a position that they've got a great business in ultimately a hub, and then they go and open another business in a spoke. But what they really should be doing is thinking about the alternate hub, because if they've got two businesses located in two hub markets, then they can infill the spokes pretty quickly. And this is really about understanding that where do people start out when they're single, where do they go when they become a couple, where do young families live, where do then older families live, and then ultimately where do people downsize when the kids have actually moved out of home. If you can move up and down the price ranges and really identify that from your core hub market, you're going to have wild business success. If you think about what we do, we know that Melbourne and Sydney and Brisbane and Gold Coast are hub markets for us. We're then in a position that we can do some great work around what happens inside of other marketplaces like Adelaide and Perth, and also too what happens in Darwin. But one of our major hubs is also all of New Zealand, being able to move up and down from what we do in Auckland and Christchurch to Wellington, to then actually going to other markets like Invercargill and Dunedin. This is really getting clear about what are the core markets that you're going to go after, because they allow you to access other markets really quickly. Now more than ever before, get clear about what the hubs look like, what the spokes look like, and make sure you work from a hub, not a spoke, because it allows you to service more markets more often.